The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webcast. My name is Marianne McDonough with Erwin, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this exclusive webcast where we'll discuss the recent acquisition of Corso and provide you with a preview of our exciting new CloudCore solution. Before we get started, I'd like to cover just a few housekeeping notes. All lines will be muted for the duration of today's presentation. Throughout the course of the session, we'll be taking questions via the question tab on the GoToWebinar interface. We'll answer as many of these questions as we have time for during the Q&A portion of our program. And you will also receive a copy of today's presentation as well as additional information as a follow-up. If you'd move to the next slide for me, please, Dan. I would now like to introduce our first presenter this morning, Adam Familaro, CEO of Erwin. Go ahead, Adam.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first call that's introducing both Erwin and our latest acquisition of a company called Corso. Martin Owen is with me today. Martin was the founder and CEO of Corso, and now he's joined us full-time as the Vice President of Product Management. So with that being said, let's jump right to the presentation. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to spend a little bit of time on Erwin's vision for enterprise data management. We're then going to explain to you why Erwin plus Corso makes more value for our customers. We'll then talk about CloudCore, which is our new product release that leverages the Corso technology to enable Erwin to also be delivered as a SaaS-based solution. Then we'll show you how we've packaged it and how it's available to be purchased today, and set you up for taking the next steps forward in your journey with Erwin. Next slide. So our 3-year vision. So most of you probably know by now, Erwin was divested by CA, more importantly, picked up by a great company called Parallax Capital. They invested in us to, in essence, build this vision, which is to develop the industry-leading company around data management. And they have given us a lot of capital to go out there and do a couple things. First is to buy strategic companies that fit into our vision, to build out our development team to further the development of our existing technology with Erwin, while we also build into new areas around data management, and form strategic partnerships in the marketplace that can forward us around big data. So our goal is over the next 3 years to build and develop out a $100 million plus company with over 200 employees. And I'll tell you right now, we're well on our way to that path. You'll see us out in the marketplace building and developing out our global partner ecosystem. We have built a pretty large size right now, agile development organization. And with Marianne's help, we're building a brand that's exciting our customers to want to do business with us. Next. So we've been spending a lot of time as Erwin out with our customers, many of which that are on the phone right now. And we've been discussing your data management needs. And we've kind of been able to boil it down to these 5 areas of focus that we're going to spend our time around building a data management platform. It starts at the beginning with being able to discover the data. Then we want to make sure that there's quality behind the data. There's a governance model so that we know where the data resides and that it's being governed correctly. And from there, being able to architect and model the solutions that you're developing from your data. And those are the 5 areas that you're going to see us as Erwin focusing in on as we either build, buy, or partner in the marketplace. Next slide, Dan. So this is our big vision that we actually built out with our customers. It starts at the bottom with being able to take any data from anywhere, whether it's cloud-based, whether it's a relational or a NoSQL-based database, and be able to take all those data sources and put them into one data foundation platform where the data is discovered, where it's governed, and where it ensures that it's quality data. From there, the data will then flow into an enterprise architecture where you're defining, everything from your business architecture, your application architecture, your infrastructure or security architecture, which can ultimately be turned into enterprise data models that can then be either used to make business decisions or develop new age technologies or applications. So this is the big vision. So outside of what you're seeing today, and you're seeing with what we've just purchased with Erwin, which of course is the data modeling assets, and with Corso, which is the enterprise architecture, you will see us in the future continue to invest in other companies that will help us complete this vision in the marketplace. Next slide. Okay, Martin, over to you.
Great, perfect. Okay, so welcome everybody. So today's great news is that Erwin have acquired Corso, and Corso provided or still provides enterprise architecture tools within a SaaS environment. So it's pretty leading edge technology. It's been developed over the past 4 to 5 years, and that's coming straight into the Erwin portfolio. And the second big news is that within the first 6 weeks of being acquired, we've taken a first step to providing both enterprise architecture and data modeling on the same platform as a SaaS offering, and that's called erwin CloudCore. So a lot of this presentation is going to take you through what is CloudCore, how do we sell it, how do you get hold of it, and what can it do for you. So next slide, please, Dan. Okay, so what's in it for customers? So from an Erwin perspective, if you're a data modeler, you can get the CloudCore bundle, so you can get enterprise architecture and data modeling with Erwin in the cloud. It's a SaaS model, so the delivery model is SaaS, software as a service, which means you can pay on a monthly basis, you can buy on a monthly basis, it's got subscription pricing. We've got expanded presence now with Erwin, with the Corso acquisition in Europe. We're a UK-based organization. So we've got a lot of expertise both in enterprise architecture and data architecture and data modeling. And we're bringing to the party a brand new technology infrastructure with a very fresh user interface using the latest technologies. From a Corso perspective, then many of our customers have been asking for deep data modeling, so things like schema generation, reverse data engineering, discovering databases, and adding that information into the enterprise architecture. We're also going into a much more well-funded company. So as you've heard from Adam, then Parallax are funding Erwin, which means we can put a lot more investment into enterprise architecture and having enterprise architecture as part of a data-driven platform, which is extremely exciting. And as you can see there, that broader solution portfolio is affected by enterprise architecture. And enterprise architecture can't stand on its own without being connected to data and not being connected to business processes and not being connected to data governance. So again, it's extremely exciting. And the other big thing for customers is that you've got a single point to actually purchase both products and services, and to get support for both data modeling and enterprise architecture needs. So next slide, please, ma'am. So just a little bit about Corso, in case you haven't heard of Corso. I know there's lots of Corso customers on the call today. So we offer both an enterprise architecture and innovation management solution on a software as a service platform. So effectively, it allows you to manage transformation activities. So whether you're doing any sort of business change, or whether you're doing a merger or acquisition, whether you're doing any type of digital transformation, whether you're doing big data, any of those activities at scale require enterprise architecture. And we're offering the only platform that is SaaS-based that allows you to do the full gamut, the full remit of enterprise architecture. We're a disruptive technology, so the market is very mature. Most of the tools have been around for about 30 years. So we came into that market with a background of having been in enterprise architecture tooling ourselves for the past 25 years, with tools like Unicom System Architect and others, and brought out a new tool based on our experience using modern technology. And none of the tools that are in that landscape, that tooling landscape, have a data focus. So they're not focusing on big data. They're not trying to understand or discover data that's out there in the organization. And they're actually not having the ability to link all that together and to provide you with a map and a blueprint of where your data is used in the organization. Okay, so the next slide, please, Dan. So one of the first things we did is we put together what we call erwin CloudCore. So CloudCore is a solution that is SaaS-based, so it allows you as a customer to use Erwin in the cloud and also use Agile EA in the cloud and connect those two tools together. So it's the first step in providing a platform for you where EA and data modeling are talking together. So it ensures that you're being consistent with your data across your systems infrastructure, your system architecture. It's ensuring that you've got governance of data, systems, processes, technology, and you're simplifying the visualization of that information across the enterprise. So you're seeing that information in one place. And again, I'll give you a demonstration of how that works shortly. But effectively, it gives you, as an organization, better visibility for different stakeholders, as well as your architects and modelers, to look at information and to actually look at the value of that information, both in terms of big data and IT infrastructure. So next slide, please, Dan. Okay, so some of the key features of CloudCore. So I'm not going to go through these in detail with you. You can pick these up from the slide deck afterwards and through the collateral on both the Erwin and Corso websites. But one of the key features of CloudCore is we're bringing together deep data modeling, so the ability to reverse information into a data model and generate information from a data model. That's deep data modeling with agile enterprise architecture. So doing a lighter type data modeling, but bringing those things together so you can actually see where your data is used in the organization. It's a collaborative approach. So the licensing model for CloudCore allows you to have both stakeholders and people doing collaboration and making comments and reviews and feedback, as well as architects and modelers using the tool sets. So you broaden the audience for your modeling and architecture initiatives. We've also got inside there the ability to report and publish and share information easily with stakeholders. So you can take information, put them into documents and publications very, very quickly, very, very easily. And with a lot of scale, because you can build very large models and distribute them very, very quickly to people that need them. And obviously, as I mentioned a few times, it's a cloud-based solution delivered on a software as a service basis. Now, from a Corso perspective, then we've had a lot of background, a lot of experience of hosting tools like Erwin in the cloud. So putting CloudCore together with an integration was a fairly easy thing for us to do from the off. Okay, so let's have a look at CloudCore and what it is. So next slide, please, Dan. Okay, so we'll make this video available to you. So this is CloudCore. It's a ribbon bar that appears on your desktop. You can set your user settings via the ribbon bar and also do things like change your password. So we provide you with a number of users, actually 5 users that can log into this CloudCore ribbon bar. And you can see here we're actually running Erwin in the cloud. So this is running in the cloud. And one of the benefits of using Erwin, for those people that don't know Erwin, is that we can import from a number of different sources. So I mentioned discovery was very important. So what you're seeing here is we can actually bring in from environments like Hadoop. We can bring in from other tools, from legacy tools. We can bring in from tools like System Architect, Office, Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, a whole range of environments. And we can build those data models automatically on the cloud. So what I'm going to do here is load a pre-built model. So we're using an insurance policy model here. And this is a fairly simple data model. And you're seeing there are a number of entities on here. So we've got policy types, car policies, home policies, and life policies. So different types of insurance policy. I'm going to add another entity to the diagram here. And we're going to call this a gadget policy. So this is an insurance policy that's going to cover my iPad or my iPhone. And this is typically the type of thing we'll be doing in a database where we're adding a table in to cover our insurance policy. We've called it gadget policy. And for that entity, I can now add some attributes or columns. So one of the first things we're going to do here is add in a brand new attribute. And inside Erwin here, we can define these attributes as keys, non-key data. We can give them data types and physical characteristics. So each gadget will have a gadget type. Our next attribute here, we're going to define. It's going to tell the date that we purchased that gadget. So again, different data types on here like date and time fields. And we're going to add some other details in here as well. So we'll add another column here for other details. Okay, so again, you'll see it's very responsive in the cloud. We've got a lot of server power behind the scenes here going on, which means that you don't have to go out and start buying additional hardware, or you don't have to start going out and getting system integrators to come and install the software for you. We're now going to create a relationship between the policy type and the gadget policy. Okay, so it's going to be another type of policy, exactly like car policies, home policies, and life policies. We're going to put in what's called a role here. So the gadget policy has a gadget policy type ID. And Erwin does some really nice things in terms of foreign key generation and managing keys across different tables, be able to specify different role names, managing indexes, that type of thing. Okay, so we'll just save that model. We're then going to export this now into an XML file. So again, lots of ways to get information in and out of Erwin. And when we generate this XML file, when we save the data from our data model, we're actually saving live into the cloud. So you're not having to go anywhere else. It's all in one environment. You don't have to worry about your desktop where you store the data. And now I'm launching also Agile EA from the same user interface. So now we're in the enterprise architecture world, and I'm looking at the front-end help screen here where we go through demos and tutorials. I'm going to click on diagrams on the left-hand side here. And now I'm going to go and find my entity relationship diagram. Okay, so this is a representation of a data model for insurance policies. It's very similar to the data model you saw a moment ago inside the deep data modeling environment with Erwin. So we've got policies of different types of policies, car policies, life policies, home policies. What we don't have here yet is the gadget policy. So one of the things we can do here is to import directly into the Agile EA environment directly from Erwin. So we can upload the file we saved with Erwin. And we're going to be rapidly improving this. So you can auto open Erwin models directly in Agile EA. We're on the cloud. I can go and find the correct folder here on the Erwin cloud. We've got complete control in terms of directory access on here. So we set up users with different access rights. So I'm going to open up the insurance policy here. We're going to import it into the platform. It tells me here that some of those entities already exist, which is fine because they already do. So we've already got those inside our architecture, but it's now added in some information about our gadgets. Okay, so they've been successful and been added into the platform. Okay, including relationships and attributes. So what we can now do is now go back into our entity relationship diagram. And when you're talking in the enterprise architecture world, it's a bit of a simpler view of a data model. So it does do primary keys and foreign key generation. But it's a much simpler view. Yeah, typically not the type of view you would use if you were really a deep dive DBA. And what we're going to do here is configure this diagram, and we're going to tell it which entity should be on the diagram. And if I just search here for gadget, this is going to show me all the objects that contain the word gadget, and there's our entity. Those entities go into entity relationship diagrams. So it has intelligence built into it. And if I say that diagram, yeah, automatically now you'll see gadget policy has now appeared with its relationship and its keys and attributes on my entity relationship diagram. Okay, so now we've moved data from the physical world with deep data into the enterprise architecture world. Okay, and again, we're building up with some of this with some of our customers to enhance this, to build some deeper integration to things like triggers and interfaces. Okay, so now that's come into the tool. Now we're in the EA world. And what I'm looking at here is what's called a layered view. So this is a diagram which goes all the way through from things like goals, the goals of the organization, right through to business processes and business capabilities, and applications that support it. So it's really a blueprint of the organization. It's a slice through the organization, looking at insurance claim management. And the blue objects here, the square boxes, show us applications. So these are the applications we've got in the organization. And if I look behind the object here, this one's called claim data management. I can change the description. So this one says manage all car insurance policies. So I'm going to add in and gadget policies as well. So just change the description. Again, this is all web-based. And then we go to the relationships tab here. And what I'm going to say now is that this application component, claim data management, has a relationship as well with the gadget entity. So there's gadget policy. I'm just going to save that. And now what we've done, so we've now reverse engineered in a data model or parts of a data model from the deep data modeling environment now into the enterprise architecture environment. And now I've linked an application to that entity. So I said that application uses that entity. Okay, so now we're making relationships between the enterprise architecture world and the deep data modeling world. Now what we're doing here is we're now going to create another diagram which is going to show me where my gadget policy is used. So what impact does this have on the business? Okay, so if I change the gadget policy or I want to implement it and change my enterprise, what impacts are there? Okay, so there's a special diagram type called an impact diagram which allows us to visualize the impact. And the data we're going to use in this diagram, again, is gadget. So this time when I search for objects, it now lists entities and attributes. So we're just going to start off with the gadget policy entity. And now we're going to look at the diagram, and there's the gadget policy. And if we look behind that, okay, you'll see here it's connected to claim data management. And there's its attributes. Okay, so all those relationships are maintained automatically for us. So I don't have to connect the entity to the application, I can connect the application to the entity, and it keeps both sides consistent. Next, I can show its relationships. So what relationships does gadget policy have with everything else in my enterprise? Okay, so here's a list of all the information that it connects to. So we know it connects to claim data management because we made that connection. I'm just going to lay this out in a nicer way. So lots of ways of laying these things out. Okay, so gadget policy relates to claim data management, and those attributes are shown as well, and the relationship. Okay, so again, just tidying this up a little bit here, so we can just see turn off the names and show what types of association these things have. Okay, so there's our impact. Now, if I know that this application is affected by this policy, I may be interested in exploring further out now and having a look at claim data management and what it affects. Okay, so now I can see the impact of change. So by changing the gadget policy, I'm going to change the claim data management application, an interface called claim data access. Quite a few other applications are affected by this change, as are some business capabilities, which are the green sort of stepping blocks there as well. What it also says there, though, is that claim data management also uses policy types, which is also an entity. So we're getting some deeper information here about our data model by using the enterprise architecture to look at things like impact to relationships. So we're sort of going horizontally across using enterprise architecture, across processes, organizations, locations, other data, other applications and systems and technology and our business capabilities, and getting a broader view of that information usage. Now, there are lots of other things that the enterprise architecture tool can do. Okay, so we could slice this into things like pivot tables. We can do further diagram types and impact analysis. We can do as-is versus to-be architectures for planning, roadmaps, so we know when things expire, what their life cycles are. But I just wanted to give you a sliver here of the integration between deep data and data within the context of enterprise architecture. Okay, so the first step on the journey with CloudCore of putting these things together. Okay, so next slide then. Okay, so the packaging for this, how will you buy? So it doesn't matter whether you're an Erwin customer or an existing Corso Agile EA customer. You can purchase CloudCore, which gives you both Erwin and Agile EA for up to 5 users. If you're an Erwin user and you're happy using your desktop environment and your own infrastructure, you can just purchase Agile EA. It's a SaaS-based cloud offering. It has the Erwin import built into it already today, so that will work today. If you want to move into CloudCore, you can buy CloudCore. We will also offer you a service of hosting Erwin for you as well. So if you want to get away from all that infrastructure and technology hassle, then we can take that pain away for you by hosting Erwin for you. So it's a bring your own license model. Now the way we have this is we have CloudCore. As I mentioned, it's 5 user logins. So those 5 users could go in and use Agile EA or use Erwin or combinations of. We're also offering different bundles as well for people that want to scale up. So you can buy, bundle 1 is buying 5 CloudCores, you can buy 10 CloudCores, and you can buy 25 CloudCores. Each CloudCore pack is 5 users. And then, as I mentioned, there's a bring your own license where you can bring your own Erwin license and use it with CloudCore. We're also allowing you, if you're not using CloudCore yet, but maybe you want to get there in the future, and you just want us to host your Erwin licenses, then we're doing a bring your own license for Erwin as well, with a minimum of 10 users. Okay, and obviously our account managers can speak to you in more detail about your exact configurations and needs. Okay, so next slide, please, Dan. Okay, so at this point I'm going to hand over to Adam to wrap up with the next steps.
Yes. Oh, great job, Martin. I can tell you, I'm excited. I'm ready to get started. So how do we get everybody else started on the phone? Let's get out there and tell people about the good news, right? Between the acquisition of Corso and the integration with Erwin, which is such a fantastic fit with the new CloudCore packaged offering. You can click the link in the follow-up email to get more information on CloudCore, as well as be able to download a trial version of the product today. And you saw the number on the page for the 1-800-78-ERWIN. That is a point of, then you click option 1, it will go directly to our sales team, and they'll be able to help you, whether it's link you up with our partner ecosystem, which, by the way, we have 4 certified partners in all geographies around the world that are already trained and can sell the technology today, as well as deliver services that go along with it. So we are fully launched and ready to go in the marketplace today. So I do want to take this time to thank you guys for taking the time to listen about our new offering. Before we call it a wrap, Mary Ann's been getting a ton of questions. So I'm going to let her kind of summarize the questions, and then between Martin and myself, we'll do our best answering them.
Thanks, Adam. If you just click to the next slide so we can look at the pretty graphic while we talk Q&A, that'd be great. We have lots and lots and clustered around a number of different areas. So the first one really is about sort of clarification of our flavor of the cloud. I'm going to throw this one to you, Martin. One of the questions was, is the service located on AWS or Azure? Someone else asked whether it was private or public cloud. So you can just answer a little bit about the cloud architecture for us?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so so we use our own hosting provider. So it is a public cloud service. We have two providers. We have one for Agile EA, and currently we're using an organization called DigitalOcean, but we are looking at moving to AWS or Azure. Off the back end of that, then Corso as an organization are also ISO 27001 certified, which means that for information security teams, that's usually a good tick box for them, because it means we've got policies in place that can manage data on the public cloud. And DigitalOcean, AWS, and Azure, all three of those environments are also ISO 27001 certified as well. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, that's great. Probably the other most common question, I think I have 4 different versions of it, is really around, I just want you to clarify one more time, can folks who have existing Erwin licenses be converted to SaaS, and if so, how? And the second part of that is someone asked about, does CloudCore differentiate between workgroup and navigator licenses, sort of the edit versus view only? So could you take those 2 questions for us?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, so yes, you can, if you're an existing Erwin customer with licenses, then we now offer a bring your own license service, where you can bring your own license, and we charge you per month. It is a minimum of 10 users. So we can do that. Yeah, the other option is you can buy CloudCore in its own right, which comes with Erwin and Agile EA as part of that bundled. So you can do either of those. And the second part there is, yeah, if you're using Erwin in the cloud, then we currently use the standard edition. We're working at the moment on the workgroup edition, but obviously there'll be a bigger cost for that, because you're deploying different databases and moving information into different marts. And that's something we're looking at now. We've already got customer requests asking to support workgroup edition. At the moment, CloudCore doesn't provide any sort of portal license or read-only license. However, as part of CloudCore with Agile EA, you get the ability to have contributor licenses, where people can actually review models and provide feedback as part of the overall enterprise architecture. Okay, so didn't quite answer the question in terms of, or provide you a capability to do browsing of Erwin models via CloudCore, but that's coming. It's part of our roadmap and something we're working on for the future.
Great answer. Moving on to a few more. Someone asked, is it possible to import objects from Corso into Erwin, because the example that you showed was Erwin into Corso?
Okay, so the answer is no at the moment. So at the moment we go from Erwin into Corso, but again we're working on Corso into Erwin. Now that's obviously the first step for us was to be able to do data discovery using Erwin, and then bring that into the EA environment. So you're looking at the bigger picture inside EA. Obviously, then the next step then is you want to move your data from data models you've created inside Agile EA into Erwin. Now, one of the things we've done when we put CloudCore together, and when we were first acquired by Erwin, is we launched a brand new data modeling tool as part of the Corso offering. So that data modeling tool has only been around for about 6 weeks. In fact, probably less, probably about 5 weeks. So that's the next part of the enhancement to that process. However, when we move forward, then we are looking at ways of actually sharing erwin data with Agile EA data. So actually you'll be working on the same model. Okay, so that's something we're looking at, and looking at the technicalities around that moving forward on a single platform.
Okay, that's great. So here's a sort of a deep question. What type of multi-user locking mechanism do you use on data models? So is the entire model locked when somebody's editing it? And I'm assuming that we're erwin operating in the cloud here.
Okay, well I can answer that from. We can get back on the erwin side on that. On the Agile EA side, then what we're providing is the ability to actually see, and it's not there yet, but it's coming up soon, but the ability to see who else is working on the same model at the same time using what we're calling live share. Okay, so we've already prototyped that. We've seen it working. So the idea here is that you'll see people sharing the model like you do with a Google document. For the erwin side, we're using the standard locking mechanisms that you've already got with erwin, which is check in, check out, effectively.
Hi, that's great. Thanks. I had you on mute there for a second as I was quickly flipping through the awesome number of questions that we're getting from folks in the live studio audience. One of the ones that I'd love for you to take here is a question from the erwin side of the house. How does the erwin portal, the web portal, fit into everything that we're talking about today?
Okay, so the erwin it depends on which edition of web portal you're using, but effectively it gives you the ability to look at your erwin models, that ability, and navigate them for different stakeholders. We haven't put that ability into CloudCore at the moment, and one of the reasons is we're tightly boxing what CloudCore can do at the moment. So its focus at the moment is on Agile EA and erwin together. So that's the focus, and then to actually broaden out the visibility of those models to different stakeholders using the Agile EA technology, which is obviously web-based, is designed to do that. So we didn't want to have confusion by bringing portal technology onto the cloud, and then allowing people to navigate the erwin models. So you can put the erwin models into Agile EA and then use Agile EA to navigate through at the moment. However, the way Agile EA does collaboration, so it has things like comments, tasks, Kanban boards. If people are familiar with Agile, it's very Agile. It's very, very different to the way that Portal works. Okay, so at the moment there are no plans to bring Portal into CloudCore. We're looking at different ways of collaborating. So what you're going to be seeing, effectively, as we move forward with erwin, and you saw this on some of Adam's technology slides. We're actually looking at providing a platform as we move forward that has the capability to reach out to different stakeholders, navigate any type of model, whether it's a data model, whether it's something you're doing with data governance, or whether it's something you're doing with enterprise architecture, collaborate around that, make comments, have role-based access control. And that's the future we're looking towards. That's the future we're building technologies to support, or acquiring technologies to support that.
That's great. So we're going to take one final question, and I did want to mention that for all of you who asked a lot of great detailed questions about the functionality, about the architecture, about the capabilities, we absolutely will answer all those via email when we close the session out. But since Martin's been so great about chatting all this time, I'm going to throw one final question back to Adam.
Keep going. I was going to say keep going. Go on.
Martin's going so well.
I'm giving you a break, Martin. So I thought this was a really great question for you, Adam. It says, we'd like to hear where the company is headed in terms of deeper level process modeling, understanding that the BP Win solution was not something that Parallax took out of the CA portfolio. So can you talk to people a little bit about the vision and where you think that fits in?
Yeah, so in the beginning when I kind of showed the overarching vision slides, there is an area in there for process modeling. It is an area that's top of mind for us right now. And we will get there, including the rest of the vision, either through acquisition or strategic partnerships. But you will see us do more in that space coming up. So stay tuned for more to come. That's a good cliffhanger for what's coming next within our business. But as you can tell, guys, and Marianne and Martin, thank you both for setting this up, and Martin for delivering such a great presentation. We are very, very excited about what the future is in store for Erwin as becoming the industry-leading data management solution company and really being the company that you choose to go to with your data management needs. So I look forward to meeting you and working with you out in the marketplace. We also are always looking for customer feedback on where we're going in our strategy. So feel free to call the 1-800-78-ERWIN number, and we could set up some time to meet and or speak a little bit deeper about our strategy and our vision and where we're going. And hopefully we look forward to making you a customer if you're not already one today. So thanks for taking the time, everybody, for being on the call, and we'll talk to you soon.